Hello, thank you for joining me. This is Mateo, and I am the Youth Program Coordinator at Rainbow Resource Center's Youth Program. And today we'll be looking at starting a garden from veggie scraps. There are many common vegetables that you can regrow from scraps. And starting your own garden from scraps can help reduce the amount of food waste that you generate in your home, and it may help save money if you're planning on starting your own garden. So, we will go over a few ways of growing your own veggies. I will explain how to regrow veggies from their scraps and how to grow veggies from the seeds from your leftover scraps. So you will need some supplies, and this is what you'll need. A pair of scissors or a knife, a small container or a plastic cup. We will be going over the germination process. For that process, you will need paper towel, resealable bag, a glass or a cup, as well as a strainer. And of course, you will need some soil and access to a sunny windowsill. So, you may be wondering, what veggies can you regrow from scraps? Well, for some veggies, it's easier to start growing them using scraps, especially if you don't have access to their seeds. So, here is a list of some veggies that can be regrown using the method we will be covering in the next slide. We have potatoes, sweet potatoes, onions, garlic, leeks, and shallots, celery, bulb fennel, carrots, turnips, parsnips, beets, and some other root crops. We also have lettuce, bok choy, other leafy greens, cabbages, basil, mint, cilantro, and other herbs. So let's talk about establishing a root system. So first, you want to cut off the plant's base. Say you have a piece about an inch tall. So place it cut side up in a shallow saucer and then add about half an inch of water. And if you take a look on the right, I have 3 steps just showing you exactly what I just talked about. So put the container with the lettuce or whatever you're growing. You want to put that core in a bright window, but out of direct sunlight. Make sure to change the water every other day. Let it grow for a few days. When the leaves are about 4 inches tall above the top of the cut, like where you made the cut there, plant the core in soil, either in your garden or in a container of soil. If you're using a repurposed container, make sure to cut some holes on the bottom to allow for drainage. You don't want the water to just sit in there. When you are ready to harvest, leave about 1/3 of the leaves on the plant to keep it growing faster. So, for herbs like basil, mint, and cilantro, it's a very similar process. You're going to place the stem of around 4 inches, about 10 centimeters long, into a container or a glass of water, and just make sure that the leaves are well above the water level, just as it shows in the image on the right. So what will happen? Roots will soon begin to grow, and as soon as the roots are growing well, these cuttings can then be transplanted into containers with soil, or again, directly into your garden if you have an existing garden. So now let's look at what veggies you can regrow from the seeds of your scraps. So make sure to keep the seeds from veggies like jalapenos, tomatoes, cucumbers, lemons, apples, peppers, and there are so many more that I haven't mentioned. So when we talk about seeds, we have to go over the germination process. And germination is the process of seeds growing into plants with the help of maintaining a warm temperature, moisture, air, and light. So we will be covering only a couple ways to germinate seeds, but there are many ways to germinate seeds. So how do we germinate seeds? Well, For starters, you will need a glass of water, paper towel, and a resealable bag, like a Ziploc bag. Before starting, soak your seeds overnight in a glass of water. This will help wake up the seeds and get them ready to germinate. Keep in mind that is like an optional step. So next, you're going to dampen a paper towel. Then you're going to place your seeds on your paper towel and then fold it in half. Place the damp paper towel with your seeds into a resealable bag, just like in the image on the right. And you can place it taped on a window, or you can keep it in a cool, dark place. Within 3 days to a week, you'll have fully sprouted seeds. Once your seeds have sprouted, they are ready to be moved into soil. So that is one germination process. Let's talk about fermentation. So seeds of pulpy vegetables and fruits like tomatoes and cucumbers need to go through fermentation. This step is not a requirement, but it can help your seeds germinate successfully. So if you want to go through this process, I'll show you how. So first, cut open the fruit or vegetable and scoop out its seeds with a spoon with some pulp. Then place the seeds into a tall glass or jar. Next, fill this glass or jar with water so the seeds and pulp are covered by 2 or more inches. Then you're going to set the glass or jar in a room temperature location to ferment. So again, follow the visuals on the right. It'll give you an idea of what things should kind of be looking like for you. So during the fermentation, you might notice some strange smells from the jar. You also might see some mold forming on the top layer, but don't panic, it's completely normal. You'll know this step is done when many of the seeds have sunk to the bottom of the jar. The top layer is coated in mold, and you may see some bulbs forming in the liquid. So make sure not to leave the seeds longer than a few days, or they'll start to germinate in the jar. So once you're ready to take the seeds out, carefully remove and dispose of the mold, then pour the seeds and pulp into a fine mesh strainer to wash them. Wash the seeds thoroughly in cool water to remove any remaining tomato pulp, then leave them to dry. They're now ready to germinate, or you can plant them in the soil. So we just covered 3 ways of regrowing scraps from scraps. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And before I let you go, I just wanted to share where I found this information. So I use these sites, starting a scrap garden, which I found on a website called instructables.com. I also reviewed 20 vegetables you can regrow from scraps. That's from ruralsprout.com. You can also find some information in the link titled The Secret to Successfully Saving Tomato Seeds for Next Year. And that's also from ruralsprout.com. And you can learn about the fermentation process in an article called How to Ferment Seeds. And that's from homeguides.sfgate.com. All the links will be available in the description of the video, so please feel free to take a quick look. And again, thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.